Hello, Guardians. Today is July 21st, 2023. My name's Danfinity, and welcome to Destiny Digest. Thank you guys so much for listening and coming to see the show. This week's a little bit different. I think I say that every week. We're not really going to talk a lot about Destiny 2 news, even though the Solstice event kicked off, and I like it a little bit better because it seems like it has been simplified down and honed down into the distillation of what it's supposed to be, even though there's an event card, and that event card costs money, and I wish that it didn't cost money. I wish that it cost Bright Dust instead. Also, the Graviton Lance is crazy at a 67% buff in PvE. That's just crazy. That's just nuts. So, there you go. That's the news of Destiny 2 this week. I really just want to dive into the conversation that I had with ProfessorBroman. For those of you who do not know ProfessorBroman, he is one of the content creators that got me into content creation, unbeknownst to him, but all the same. It was a huge thrill to sit down and talk to him about his work with GCX, to talk about content creation's future, as well as Destiny 2. So we're just going to jump right into it. Please enjoy this conversation with ProfessorBroman. Thank you so much for joining us today on Destiny Digest. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on. First and foremost, why don't you tell the folks at home where they can find you on the internet, just in case they don't make it to the end of the episode?
I'm Professor Broman. You can find me at Professor Broman everywhere. That's it. that's I'm Professor Broman everywhere. I got lucky.
One of the lucky ones.
So except kick. Somebody hijacked.
Somebody got it.
Yeah. So, but apparently they got great user support there. I can just message them. But I'm just lazy, and I don't know if I'm ever going to stream there. So whatever.
Perfect. Yeah. Understandable.
So, yeah.
I went ahead and grabbed that super early. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I feel obligated. Yeah.
It was the first time I made sure to get it on Blue Sky. I made sure to get it on Hive. Whatever owned 3D, anything. Yeah. But I didn't get it there because I was like, I don't know. I'm tired. Which I'll probably say a lot today. When it comes to content creation. But yeah, we'll get there.
Heard. Gotcha. Well, yeah. So like I said, kind of in our pre-show, you've been doing this for a long time. You're one of the main. You and Goth, I think, were the two streamers that I started watching after I found Guardian Radio. And you guys were you both had been on an episode of that show talking about streaming and Twitch and everything. And that's how I started watching you, was from Guardian Radio into Twitch. And then I used to shelf books at the library I worked at, and I would just have my headphones in, and I would have the stream on the cart I could listen to what was going on in the game, because I wasn't able to take off for launches and stuff.
Yeah.
So thanks for being entertaining.
Yeah. I'm trying really hard not to reverse interview you, because I really want to know what it's like to work at a library. That's been when I was a kid, I was like, that must have been hell. But now I'm an adult, and I'm like, fuck, working in a library would be so quiet.
It's pretty rad. I still do. It's my part-time. I have a job that keeps the engine running, and then I stream as many hours as I work. And so it's pretty cool. It's one of the best jobs that you can have, I think. And plus I heard somebody refer to it as long haul truckering of the education system. So because nobody goes harder than librarians.
That's true. That's really true. They got all the books.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I've been watching you for a long time. But for the folks at home who may not know who you are, what got you into streaming? And let's just start there.
I'd say, I fell in love with content because of Red versus Blue. That was sort of what I was like, oh wow, you can do anything. And for me, it was, and this is something I've used my whole career. Trend prediction is something that I happen to be gifted at. And so I saw all of this stuff happening with Red versus Blue, and then the emergence of YouTube. And I was like, wow, like there's going to be this entire economy of people who can just make good content for themselves, and like that's super neat. And so I paid attention to the space. But what really sucked me in was seeing the power of charitable giving on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first events I remember having a strong memory of participating in was the Hurricane Sandy-thon. And one of the first people I ever watched on Twitch was I Ate Your Pie doing Paper Mario speedruns for that event. And I was like, wow, like there's so much to do. Like you can literally, you do anything. And like, again, like if you can dream it, you can either write the code for it, buy the camera and record it yourself, edit it yourself. It's just a matter of kind of figuring out a system to make it work. So that is what got me super interested, and eventually what got me started into streaming was this concept that a tremendous amount of good can be done because there's no limit to how many people that can get involved when you're online.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a football stadium can fit 50, 60,000 people. The internet can fit millions in one chat room.
Yeah, so, as evidenced by like Ninja years.
Yeah, Ninja, or if you're looking at the new record-breaking events, these boxing events, that the creator boxing events, the creator fundraising events, the Z event over it's in, I can't remember if it's France. I'm sorry, Z event. But like we're talking about people that we're getting 2 or 3 million concurrent viewers on these charity streams. It's wild. And honestly, it's very, to me, I always try to look for the good things that are happening in the space, because there's so much not good that tends to get the focus. But people are doing things online to make the world a much, much better place. And I love to see that stuff.
Hell yeah.
And that's what got me started.
And I think that's something that is a through line that I've seen in your work, not only on your channel, but like with GCX event and like something that like I've respected you guys all for doing for years. So that's tremendous. Where like I come off of this. So last week I listened to like a couple of interviews that you did, like one on the Gary V podcast, like back in 2018. And like,
right.
So back then you were like, yeah, streaming's incredible. Like everybody should be doing it. Do you like, where are you like 5 years on? Like
from now?
Yeah. Or like, no, from that point. So like, where are you right now?
Streaming was awesome. So like 5 years into my career.
Yeah.
I really liked streaming. I got to learn from some of the coolest people in the space about how fundraising works. That 5 years was like 2016. So I guess that was 2018. So right around Destiny 2. It was about a year in. God, that was rough times. I was learning a lot of lessons. Destiny 1 had become iconic by the time that it ended, and then we got Destiny 2. I don't need to say anything else about how that went. It was really a difficult time to just make content for one game. But in the midst of all that, there was this community. This would have been the third year we were putting on GCX. At that point, we had already broken the $1 million fundraising mark one year. We did $500,000 first year, which I always like to say, first year, St. Jude didn't even know we were doing it, because I don't like to ask people for help until I can prove that what I'm doing has value to them.
Yeah.
So, that first year, I just went to St. Jude's page. I pulled their PayPal link off of the site, and I put it into the tip link for a generalized Streamlabs account. And so every time we tested it, the donation went straight through. I got a receipt from St. Jude. I was like, boom, good to go. So $500,000 that first year, which St. Jude figured out what was happening. Like, I think it took them 4 or 5 days, and then somebody tweeted about it at them. And like, oh my God. So we met with them afterwards. Yeah, this is it. We met with them afterwards. It was really cool. We started forging a relationship with them and Play Live, who've been incredible partners for our event the whole time. In 2018, so content creation wise, I was still full-time streaming. We were trying to build up GCX. I personally, started with our team, the coffee company, and a few other things. At that point in my career, I was looking at the exit plan.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Like
it's
what's
true.
what's going after?
Well, how long can I do this
Mm-hmm.
realistically? And then let's make a plan.
Yeah.
And I did, and it was working. I think it was working for a lot of people, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I was still streaming full time. I think at that point I just didn't have the capacity to do YouTube full time anymore as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was also trying to prioritize myself for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I was mid career. It was a
Yeah.
huge transitional year in 2018.
Yeah. So where do you like how have you seen yourself grow to now in the 5-year span in between 2018 and like how are
Oh,
you feeling, man? Like I know you mentioned the global pandemic. You know, like that
yeah.
threw a huge wrench in the gears for a lot of things, especially like I know GCX went digital and you guys did the video game that one year. Um but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but with like from there, like how are you feeling about Twitch, about streaming, about content creation now?
Oh, so content creation right now is it's in the most, so I'm trying to figure out the right way to say this. I think content creation as an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
you have a tremendous opportunity right now. I'd say there are opportunities present that did not exist for a very long time. Things YouTube came out and it became entrenched, right? You had to,
Mm-hmm.
like, it was the only game in town, to the point when I started streaming, people were like, what are you doing on this Twitch website? You're an
Yeah.
idiot. But I kind of put all my eggs in that basket because I was like, live content is what people are pushing for. And then Twitch became entrenched, and then they had some really potentially successful competitors fail out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mixer.
Mixer, right?
Yeah.
Which I we're all missing Mixer right now. I'm really sad that Microsoft, they could have just made 2 or 3
Yeah.
choices
Mm-hmm.
that would have annihilated Twitch's market share, and really picked up a lot of content creators. And I liked Mixer because it was so well folded into, or it was starting to get folded into the Xbox Microsoft ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a better place for creators. And I think there's a lot more opportunity in that kind of an environment, as opposed to what we have now, which is like, pick which billionaire you want to work for.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I always like to make sure I keep things as squared up as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stream it on Twitch, stream it on Kick. Like, people like to make all these arguments, but the reality is, you got a guy that, a union busting asshole who flies to space in a penis rocket,
Yeah.
or people who promote gambling. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
not, it's like a
Nobody
pick
gets
your
out
poison
clean.
situation. Yeah, corporations are corporations. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care about you. Caring about you is a great marketing tactic. I'm not kidding.
No,
I mean,
no,
that's
I know.
like, I've been doing this long enough to hear some of those conversations. Like, well, if we really make them care, then we'll have higher conversions. Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
will, but you should also actually care.
Yeah.
Which brings me to, like, that's our approach at GCX. We really do endeavor every year, and I can't emphasize this enough. Most events of our size are put on by teams of 15 or more people. 15 is
Mm-hmm.
a low staffing rate for a 10,000 person event. We have a team of 6. We do everything that we can to try and be there for content creators, because we founded the event. We're content creators ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And like, like, you go to PAX, you're just another number. You're just another person who's at a panel. And we've always wanted GCX to be a place where you can go as a creator and really feel like you can make the event as much about you as you want. We're not there to be like, oh, whatever. No, like,
Yeah.
we want you to show up, bring your community, plan your parties. I don't even care if you end up on the show floor. I don't care if you spend a dime on merch or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
GCX is about you as a content creator, your community, and the good that we do together. Most importantly, for the kids of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To date, we have raised $20+ million for the kids of
Yeah.
St. Jude
It's incredible.
Children's Research Hospital as a community. So, the streaming space, back to go back to that. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's a little rabbit trail.
You're fine. Man.
The streaming space has a lot of opportunities right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think over the next 5 years, and I've said this in a lot of meetings, with people, something is coming, and I don't know what it is that's going to drastically change the ecosystem of content creation.
Yeah.
I feel like we're starting to see the conflict lines show up. We have, Elon bought Twitter. He's now monetized Twitter in a way that is going to, it's going to turn into hot take central, right? Like, the angrier I can get people, the more money that I make, which in my mind is great. I think that decision, it's great in this way.
Yeah.
That decision is going to drive more people away from the platform than anything else that he's done. And now you don't want to interact with hot takes. You want to block those people because you don't want to put money in their pockets by looking at their content. So I think that's going to get people to trend away from that platform. We have Threads. We have other things that are happening in the space. You have TikTok, where arguably TikTok could and should be the top of funnel for everybody. Because discoverability there is like crazy. Nothing I've ever seen. And it doesn't matter what kind of content you make. It could be highly produced. It could be vlog style. It could be 8-second clips of your life. Doesn't matter what it is. I see content creation pushing more towards, what you can do as an individual, which is very stressful. If you want to be a content creator, there's less backstop. You have to continuously be more creative. But if you're willing to sort of adapt your content to fit into those buckets, short form buckets and things like that, you have opportunity to do really well. I think live streaming is the end of your funnel. Yeah. As opposed to the top at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's the demonstration. A friend of mine, Joe Chuck, when we would talk during the pandemic about like strategy and stuff, and he was like, it's the demonstration of what you're exhibiting online.
Right.
Is what that is. When it comes to, do you feel like instead of a more manufactured experience, like on social media, like you said, like people are kind of being driven away from like Twitter and everything. Do you feel like
at this point?
Yeah. Do you feel like maybe we see like a trend toward more earnest posting or some sort of social media that tries to get more genuine rather than like, here's what I think about the 25 guns in Destiny 2. Like, what?
Right. Well, I think that so this is very, it's very, I also see things as they are right now moving in a very like Black Mirror direction. Right? Yeah. Like there's I think we're getting to a point and we're seeing the big companies try and figure out a way to make verified online identity a key part of their platform. If I was to take a guess, over the next 5 years, we're probably all going to have verified style accounts, right? And I think that maybe the thing that everyone's going to look back at for this era of the internet and be like, wow, cringe, is the fact that people could the fact that people could be completely anonymous online. Completely anonymous online. That's not a healthy environment for interaction, right? You don't even know who you're talking to. The person who's on the other side of the keyboard or the screen, you don't know nothing about them. And because of that, they have no incentive to be honest or operate in good faith. And it leads to really wild as fuck behavior. Oh, sorry, I don't know if we can swear on your podcast.
You're fine.
But we're seeing landmark litigation against online harassment. Bungie just won.
Bungie just did it.
They took that dude to task. As they should have. And I personally, I know that the wheels of justice turn slowly and all the other things that the lawyers say. But that sort of stuff needs to continue to happen. I wish that those sort of cases were being settled out in 2018, 2015, 2016, because I think we'd all be in a much better place. When there are repercussions, people change the way they behave.
Yeah.
So yeah. streaming is streaming and content creation online is in a really strange space, but I think more than ever it is what you want to make of it.
Yeah. It's no longer like a gold rush. It is making hay while the sun's out, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's until there's another new big social media platform like TikTok, which is probably not going to happen for another 2 years. It tends to be like every 5. You're going to see it's really about figuring out how to work with the tools that are in front of you. I'd say.
So moving into Destiny, how are you
Yes.
feeling about Destiny right now? Post like Lightfall, like during Season of the Deep. I know you've been playing a lot of variety stuff, and like but your home is in Destiny. Like you still play.
Yeah, well, I
sandbox.
love the story, so I like to come back for the story beats of the content. I really loved Lightfall. I know that I might be in the not being the majority in that, but I thought Lightfall was really fun. I really like how they're evolving the story. We are at the point of the storytelling arc where we have hit rising action, and we are starting to enter the conclusion phase of the narrative, right? So we're going to start getting answers to questions, and I think that it's going to be tough. I'm glad I'm not in Bungie's shoes. It's hard to deliver on a decade-long narrative and have a conclusion that everyone's happy with. I think things are interesting from a narrative standpoint. I think that having the bad guy or the bad perspective in the game, or the one that we've been presented as fighting against the whole time, the witness's entire orientation is to simply impose meaning on the universe, which is like, to me, it's very bizarre choice, because usually the search for meaning is the thing in the journey that you bring back as an individual, and you're like, oh my God, I found my meaning, and now I can like share it. So I'm super curious about where that's going, but in general, like I still love the game. I think it's fun. I love the gunplay as always. It's always what pulls me back in. Seasonal activity is super fun. And I'm looking forward to the next 2 seasons in final shape, and they're already saying these next seasons are going to start introducing characters and concepts that are going to transcend the conclusion of the Light and Dark saga.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's next? I'm curious, but I definitely say that I'm more invested solely on the narrative side now than I am like on the day-to-day gameplay.
Yeah.
I'm burned out on that, but I think I was burned out on that a long time ago.
Ages ago.
If you want to talk about things that I've grown in the past, 5 years, like learning to recognize, like, oh no, I'm not angry at Bungie. I am personally exhausted.
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend that if you're a content creator, that you take a moment, take a beat, take a breath, chill out, get a 7-Up, like whatever. But recognize that our opinions as content creators I might get blown up for this, asynchronous with a lot of the people who play the game consistently. I say this because I have friends who are not online at all for any of this discourse. People like some of my friends from St. Louis, these people that I've known for a long time at this point, they still play the game every day, and they are fucking ecstatic constantly with the new content that's coming out of the game. And they only play about 10 hours a week. And creating a product's about knowing your core audience. That's a core audience. People who play 10 hours a week, there's always stuff to do in Destiny. And that's for better or for worse, but I don't think most games are designed to be played for 80 hours a week.
It's
tough. All right. Sorry, Destiny community. I'm gonna make sure I turn off my Twitter for the next 5 days.
You'll be fine. I
don't really care anymore.
I think you'll be fine. I've always maintained that we're the atypical players in all of this. Like we're constantly, when you're trying to make content out of the thing, you are going to see the cracks where you're going to see cracks where there are cracks and where you think there are cracks. And so like you're going to be loud about those things, especially when you make content for fun and money. It just happens. So I know you just said like the loot grind was like kind of burnt you out. You've been burnt out on that for a while, but what are you having fun with? Like what weapons in the game are you enjoying?
I mean, I always love when they pull in like the new exotic quest was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been addicted to the Quicksilver auto rifle. I have to force myself to play with other weapons.
Yeah.
So that's been my go-to since they released that thing. Even before they buffed it, I was like, I don't care if it's crap. It shoots rockets and grenades. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, that's good for me. I'm happy.
It's a Borderlands gun in Destiny 2.
It's definitely a Borderlands gun. Yeah, it's the most Borderlands ass gun. And then the synergy with the like strand subclass stuff, it was amazing. Yeah, I really liked it.
Incredible. Yeah,
I want Arc to be stronger, which is like probably not the thing to say, but like I want my little charge punch to I want everything to die.
Yeah.
And I got my perfectly rolled point contact brace to like prep for this season. I'm gonna be super transparent. And then the first time I fucking used that thing and it didn't obliterate everything in front of me, I was like, maybe I'll skip this season. So I really wanted to be Thor.
I've been bouncing around as a hunter, just smacking everything in the face and either going invisible or destroying everything in the room. So I understand your need for Arc to be powerful. We have the reveal coming up in August.
Right.
What are you excited to see? What do you want to see out of that reveal?
Is that the same day as the marathon stuff too? It's August 22nd.
Yeah, it's August 22nd. So they're probably doubling up that day, just like their own.
I would imagine reveal. The whole thing's going to be like a Bungie showcase. And since they're now a multi-IP studio, which is awesome.
It's great.
I think that by the time we get to the reveal, we're probably going to know a little bit more about the story, and they're going to set up the final conflict. That's that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting them to show us either how we're going to fight or run away from Xivu Arath, because I'm not. I mean, I'm fairly convinced that fighting's not the right play. Because if you fight, it makes her stronger.
She wins. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to learn how to operate in a different way. So I think that's something that is going to be coming out. And then, I mean, the final raid, they're probably going to show a preview of the final raid, which, selfishly, I hope that it's the raid that I've always wanted. I've been talking about this since Destiny 1, right? I want a raid where we go like inside the Traveler, which now seems like a thing that could actually happen. Like before, in 2016, I was like, no, like we get in an elevator and like fucking go up.
It smells like vanilla in here. What's going on?
Like whatever, like and then it goes, you go up in there and then you get a buff and you can equip any exotic you want, and you just but it's only in the raid, in the raid, and you're gonna be the most overpowered, just like you're running like point contact brace, and you're running, thunder crash helmet, and you're like like foil, like everything. And like you really have a good time. So I'm hoping for some crazy shit like that. I probably won't get my wish, but those are my hopes and dreams.
That reminds me of the ending of Legend of Dragoon. That game, you just got all the Dragoon souls. And
exactly. And you just become super god.
Yeah, you become super god. And oh man. So like, I think Salta Greppa is probably going to have something to say to you about the overpoweredness of the.
Everybody told me. Everybody told me wearing every exotic would break the game, and like every time I bring that up, I did a TikTok about it a while ago, and everyone's like, that the code in the game, they've said that it won't work, and I was like, yeah, I know. That's why it's a dream.
Yeah,
that's why it's a dream.
It's my reality in here that I want to see.
My brain box.
So let's go ahead and move into GCX. So, you guys it was the third year in 2018. So this is the 8th year you guys are basically running it, right?
I think it's our seventh year. Seventh year with the physical event.
Right. We touched on the video game year earlier.
Fundraising. Yeah.
So like, what are you most looking forward to from this year's event? What are some things that are sticking out to you that you're proud of, outside of the charities? Like,
I'm proud that we're doing it at all. Events. I mean, like, let's start with the brass tacks. E3 gone. Yeah. Lots of major events in the gaming space gone. So I am happy that we are having the event at all. It's obviously, like I said, I feel like what we try to do is unique. And so the fact that we've been able to continue the event, I'm very proud of that. I think we've got great panels this year. We're always trying to bring in we're always trying to bring in stuff, bring conversations to the forefront that like don't really happen all the time. We're going to have a panel on chronic illness and content creation this year that I'm really looking forward to people seeing. I haven't been able to talk about it for so long, but like we have a very interesting conversation that'll be happening with some of the folks from Bungie at the end of day one. That's been something that's been in the works for a long time. That's going to be really interesting. I'm very excited to see what that's going to be. You know, and I'd have to say that, you know, we've got more indie games at the event than we've ever had before, which has been really, really exciting. You know, and I'm just excited to see people again.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
It feels like this show is like, you mentioned E3, and that feels like it was like majorly like a publisher thing. GCX has always been a community show from like
that's our intent.
Yeah.
That's our focused goal at GCX has always been to highlight the good that the gaming community can do. Sorry, I'm tired.
Gotcha, man.
For those of you that don't know, you're listening to this podcast. We were originally supposed to do it last Wednesday, but I had to, like, my wife went in for emergency surgery. Which was a big surprise, and I'm very thankful to Dan and everyone for rescheduling. But we're still recovering. But you know, our focus from the beginning has, like, there isn't all those places are places where you as a content creator are secondary. You are you're part of the experience. You're a cool thing that could happen. Someone might bump into your favorite YouTuber. We've always wanted people to come to GCX to meet intentionally with their community. That's why we have it at, you know, the Rosen, right? So everyone can stay on site. You could be going back to your room and you're like, oh, that's, you know, Dado. Even though Dado will, as we've seen on the meet and greet schedule, be there for meet and greets the entire
for a long
time. Both days.
Yeah.
I hope there's enough time for Dado. But you know, we make space for things like that, right? And that's our intent. That's always our intent. We try our hardest to with our very, very small team to make it about the content creators and make it about the good that we do in the world together. So to me, it's about the incredible individuals that decide to partner with us to fundraise for St. Jude, and the amazing communities. You know, like, my favorite moment every year is seeing the people who've been playing together for years get to hug or talk or have a beer together for the first time. You know, that is the most incredible thing to me.
Yeah, this will be my second one that I'll be attending. And the first year that I went, it was when, like, I had just joined Planet Destiny, but like I knew some people, but not a lot of people. And so this time around, I'm really looking forward to really getting to meet my community, like, because I feel like a lot of people are going to be there from it, and I'm eagerly anticipating that. It should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
What do you feel are some of the challenges that GCX is facing, not only maybe this year, but like in years to come?
I mean, I think that one of the most obvious challenges that we're facing this year is the political climate in Florida. It's incredibly difficult to operate an event that is very, like, we're focused on inclusivity at GCX. I have to say this. I will never stop saying this. Gaming is and has always been for everyone, and there are elements in the gaming community that want to exclude the LGBTQIA plus community. We all know what's going on in Florida. It is horrific. And you know, so I'd say that is one of the biggest challenges that we've faced this year, is figuring out how do we host a safe and inclusive event for absolutely everybody who wants to attend. Everybody who's coming, you know, from all over Florida, or if you're coming, you know, internationally or coming from another part of the state. How do we have an event that is where you can show up, you can celebrate living your life out loud as you want, proud of who you are, and we are there to accept you. You know, we want everyone there, and so we've put a lot of effort this year into safety and security. We are incredibly proud of the community that we have at GCX, and we will do absolutely everything that we can to protect them.
Hell yeah. Cool. So when GCX is over, what is the first thing you're going to do? Like,
when GCX is over, well, this year, right after GCX is over, it's right into planning more fundraising for St. Jude. I mean, the I can't sing her praises enough, but Sam Lupo coming on as a charity director has really helped us transform our ability to operate the event. She, after myself doing it for 6 years, essentially part-time, never really being able to give the full focus to I mean, I want to spend 40 hours a week trying to figure out how to make the event the best event it can be for St. Jude. So now we have somebody that can do that. And we have so many big plans for additional fundraising and big dreams, big ideas that we want to do alongside our partners at St. Jude. So for us, it's right back into the next fundraising event. What's coming up next? Obviously, we have Build Against Cancer at the end of the year with the Lupos. But we're trying to really break some new ground over the next 12 to 18 months for St. Jude and get into some new communities online and really I want to say more, but I'm not going to.
All right.
Let's just say that our relationship with St. Jude and the things that we're going to be bringing around, we want to innovate more. Just like we've been having all this conversation about the changes in the streaming space and the changing of the content creation space. Our passion is to help St. Jude get their message in front of a new generation of people, right? For a long time, streaming was the number one best way to do that. There are a lot of other venues, a lot of other avenues now, and we want to make sure that what we're doing is looking towards the next 5 years as well.
Sarah,
I'm also going to sleep.
Yeah, I fully intend.
I'm going to sleep a lot.
I can't imagine throwing a party for 10,000 people.
It is. I mean, it's like I've always been. We have kind of two divisions when it comes to. So again, the team just keeps getting smaller, right? Like I say 6 people, but honestly, the event side, it's we have 2 people on our team, me and Sam Lupo, that work primarily on the marathon, and then we have our events team, so it's like 4 folks. And they do so much to try and be communicative, bring everybody in that wants to come and really put things together in a great way. And watching them put together that party for 10,000 people, it's really awesome. And I think this year, one of the things that I'm the most excited about is we've always tried to get creators to do their own fun stuff there, right? Like we've always got this kind of blanket invitation. It's like, do you want to do something cool at GCX? Like, let us know, and we'll try and help get that over the net for you. And so we have like a giant pool party with Goth this year for day 0, right? I believe we have a few other things, but like I said, I'm not totally keyed in on the event side. But it's really fun to know that there's a lot of joy happening, and it's happening because we just kind of set the table for everyone to show up at. That's probably something that I should spend more time personally allowing myself to appreciate, but where I'm always so like, what's the next thing?
It's cool that you guys that you're allowing people to pull up a seat to that table. You know what I mean? Like a lot of spaces in entertainment. I think we're seeing that with like the WGA and the SAG strikes. Like a lot of the tables, they're shut, and as soon as like a door gets open to like some opportunity, it closes right behind the person who walked through it. And so having a space, having an event that is that open to being like, hey, like just come play in our sandbox, like that's really cool.
And we've got so much, we're expanding on the stuff that worked last year. Our tabletop area last year, we had people in that 24/7. And it was people like exit, people leaving and telling us what they loved. So many people said that. So we've invested more in that space. We've got we've got arcade and obviously PC play areas and stuff. We got all the indies, which that has been we have been trying to get a ton of indies at the event for so long. And that finally happened this year.
Who are some of the indies? Oh, okay, gotcha.
The list. I knew you were gonna ask that. The second I started talking, I was like, shit. To be like, who? And I'd be like,
I'd love to tell you, but
I think I know we have like 10, I think it's 10 plus indie games there.
Awesome.
if my tallying is correct, which is our highest amount of devs joining us ever.
Yeah.
And we're honestly really happy that Bungie decided to come. They want to have a candid conversation about content creation and how like what's the future look like, right? They chose our event because it's a place where people come to have candid conversations. They come to network. They come to be a part of the community. And figure out what's next.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for the time that you've spent this morning to come and hang out and to speak with us about this. Where can people find you on the internet, sir?
So if you've listened this entire time and you still think that you want to hear my voice, you can follow me at ProfessorBroman on Twitch. I stream Thursdays and Fridays on Twitch. I stream Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. I'm also on Instagram, but I don't post there very much. So yeah, if you're looking to interact with me, those are the places. If you follow me on Twitter, okay. Thanks,
sure.
I guess. But
sure.
I'm not on there very much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Understandable. My name's Danfinity. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and the threads and the TikTok and everything else at Danfinity, where the eyes are L's or the eyes are eyes or whatever. You can also find me on Twitch 3 days a week, twitch.tv/Danfinity, helping Guardians out with in-game activity and Destiny 2. If you'd like to support the show, please remember to rate and review on your podcast platform of choice. Anything you say helps us in the algorithm. And if you'd like to help keep the lights on, head on over to coffee.com/Danfinity. Give $3 a month if you're enjoying the content. As always, links are in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you find what you're grinding for.